For whatsoever you sow, that you also shall reap. Jesus said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You cannot do terrorism on other people and expect it never to come back on you. Those are biblical principles, not Jeremiah Wright bombastic, divisive principles.
So what he's saying there, I mean, correct me if there's a way to do so, but what he's saying is that we have terrorized others, therefore we are being terrorized. Do not unto others what you would not have them do unto you, right?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think to a large extent, Reverend Wright squandered a really valuable opportunity to educate the nation on the more sophisticated nuances of not only his sermon, but of the black church. I think, though, that what he did do in terms of correcting the record was he made it clear that this wasn't an individual ideology, that this was rooted in the Bible. So much of the critique was, how can a minister say these things? Today, he showed through the text that the Bible itself sort of sanctions the very narrative that he articulated.
Hey, look. But isn't he saying himself these things? Didn't he say that we wreak terror on others, and that's why it came to us? And in addition, here, listen to this one.
But you know, that's biblical. God doesn't bless everything. God condemns something, and D-E-M-N, dim is where we get the word damn. God damns some practices, and there is no excuse for the things that the government, not the American people, have done. That doesn't make me not like America or unpatriotic.
So he's saying God will damn America for what it's done to African American people and others? Is that it now?
What he called for, when you listen to the entire speech, as I'm sure you did, he's saying that for all of the evil that America has done, just like any other nation, God will not bestow favor upon
so what
it.
he's saying is that this list of things is all evil that America's done to others, right?
Right, those particular things, yes. Not that America itself is evil, but that America has engaged in acts of evil just like every other country.
And for that God should damn America.
For those things. Not that God should damn America writ large, nor that God should damn the American people.
I think where the problem is, you've heard people say, God damn this or God damn that. You've heard it. But in God's house, from God's altar, I wish I had another minute. I don't. We'll pick this up on the other side.
But keep in mind, that came from God's book. I think the key today was to say that he's not some sort of random pastor who's cooking up crazy ideas, but that he's drawing from a long and deep religious tradition in the black community. And I think that's important. I think that's why Barack is connected.
I get that. But I think it's also important to connect the dots. It begins with the reverend's belief that America has done something which will cause God to damn America, right?
Well, I don't think necessarily that I don't think he's necessarily saying that God will or won't do. I don't think he can speak for God in that way.
But I think
believe, what he's saying,
with due respect and admiration, what he said was, not God bless America for these things, but God damn America. That is what he said. Is it not? That is what he context.
But the broader context of the sermon was people confusing God with government. He was saying that we cannot we can't put the flag above the cross, so to speak. We can't think of governments as gods. Governments make mistakes. Governments sin. And he was saying that the United States is not sinless. It is not blameless. It can't be put above that. Do I think he was over the top? Do I think he was a bit hyperbolic? No doubt about that. But I think that was the central argument he was making.
He's also said that the United States government is responsible for AIDS as a sort of weapon against people of color. Listen.
In your sermon, you said the government lied about inventing the HIV virus as a means of genocide against people of color. So I ask you, do you honestly believe your statement and those words?
Have you read Horowitz's book, Emerging Viruses, AIDS and Ebola? Whoever wrote that question. Have you read Medical Apartheid? Based on the Tuskegee experiment and based on what has happened to Africans in this country, I believe our government is capable of doing anything.
Would it have behooved him there, if he believed that the U.S. government had not done such a thing, for him to say, I believe the government has not done such a thing? And unless and until he does, he's on the record as saying the previous.
Yeah, I think, again, he squandered an important opportunity to set the record straight, to say, look, I overstated this.
Did he squander it, or did he do it on purpose? Does he believe that?
I don't think he believes that. I think at that, because if you notice what he said here is that the government is capable. He sort of took a step back and said, well, I don't necessarily think the government did it, but they're certainly capable of it. And I think the government is capable of it. The question is, did the government do it? Probably not. But I don't think he went to stand in front of America and say, you know what, I overstated my point. I think that's what I mean by squander.
Sir, with respect, did you just leave open the possibility that the United States government is using AIDS as a weapon against against African Americans to exert weight?
No.
All right. Well, you said it's possible.
Let me tell you what.
Now, hang on. This is important.
Let me tell you what I said.
No, I want to back up. I want to back up.
I'm trying to back up.
This man had an opportunity to distance himself.
What I'm saying is that the United States government, to be sure, has the capability, just like many governments have the capability to engage in such acts. Do I think the government did it? No. Unequivocally, I do not think the United States government gave black people HIV. I do not believe that. I'm sorry?
He doesn't sound as firm about it as you do. He doesn't sound as firm about it.
And that's why I'm saying he made a mistake. Well, it's okay for us to agree sometimes.
He made a mistake. I think there's another possibility. I think the other possibility is we know how he feels. And the question which we must all answer as voters is he so closely tied to Barack Obama? Has he been closely tied to Barack Obama in the past enough such that I have to rethink where Barack Obama's grounded? The book says, on Christ, the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. I mean, this doesn't seem too rockish to me.
Right, but again, Barack's standing on Christ, not on Jeremiah Wright. The issue here is, does Barack Obama share Jeremiah Wright's beliefs about this? Barack Obama says, no, I don't. There's no reason to think he does. I've sat in Jeremiah Wright's church, and when he gets going with this sermon, there's hundreds of people in the church who say, oh, here he goes again.
Would you have gotten up when he said, goddamn America? Would you have kept sitting there?
What I have, no, but I'm not running for president at least for another 8 to 10 years.
True enough.
But my point here is that many people in his congregation don't share his beliefs. Barack Obama clearly doesn't share his beliefs. He's made that clear. And so I don't think there's any doubt as to where Barack Obama stands on this issue.
Gotcha. Good enough. Thank you. Appreciate you coming.
My pleasure.
All right.
And you're going to be my running mate.
Oh, you'd lose.